The Apple Computer Company releases the iTunes program during January of 2001. The purpose of the software was to organize and manage digital multimedia files, primarily music and video files, on a computer. President Bill Clinton, the 42nd President of the United States, was till January 20, 2001. George W. Bush, 43rd President of the United States, started from January 20, 2001. The Russian space station Mir ended its mission on the 23rd of March 2001, when it was brought out of its orbit, entered the atmosphere and was destroyed. It was the first modular space station and had a larger mass than any other spacecraft that had been launched at that point in time. The first space tourist, the aerospace engineer and financial analyst Dennis Tito, before 2001. That was the year Tito, then 60, became the first paying space tourist. Cutting a $20 million check to Russia to fly aboard a Soyuz spacecraft and spend a week aboard the International Space Station, ISS. Tony Blair, the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. He is the youngest Prime Minister of the 20th century during his first term. On June 8, 2001, Tony Blair and the British Labour Party are elected for a second term. Chief Executive General Pervez Musharraf took over the office of President of Pakistan on June 20, 2001 under the Provincial Constitutional Order, PCO. He immediately dissolved the Senate, National and Provincial Assemblies and sacked the Chairman of the Senate and Speaker of the National Assembly. Genesis spacecraft launched. NASA launches the Genesis spacecraft during August of 2001. NASA thought that the samples could provide more accurate information about the composition of the Sun and improve upon theories about the creation of the Sun and the planets. Genesis crash-landed back on Earth in September of 2004. Due to a design flaw in the parachute, several samples were damaged in the crash. But there was still some left intact that NASA was able to study. September 11th attacks, also called 9/11 attacks, series of airline hijackings and suicide attacks committed in 2001 by 19 militants. The deadliest terrorist attacks on American soil in U.S. history. The attacks against New York City and Washington, D.C., caused extensive death and destruction and triggered an enormous U.S. effort to combat terrorism. Some 2,750 people were killed in New York, 184 at the Pentagon, and 40 in Pennsylvania, where one of the hijacked planes crashed after the passengers attempted to retake the plane. By the sea, researchers note all 19 terrorists died. From police and fire departments in New York, hundreds had rushed to the scene of the attacks, and more than 400 police officers and firefighters were killed. Anthrax attacks occurred in the United States over the course of several weeks beginning on September 18, 2001, 1 week after the September 11th terrorist attacks. Letters containing anthrax spores were mailed to several news media offices and to Senators Tom Daschle and Patrick Leahy, killing 5 people and infecting 17 others. On September 27, 2001, a gunman carried out a deadly attack on the Zug Regional Parliament, shooting dead 14 politicians before killing himself. 2001 Indian Parliament attack. That was a terrorist attack on the Parliament of India in New Delhi, India on the 13th of December 2001. The perpetrators belonged to Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed, 2 terrorist organizations. The attack led to the deaths of 6 Delhi police personnel, 2 Parliament Security Service personnel, and a gardener, in total 9. The 5 terrorists were killed outside the parliament. On December 15, 2001, Italy's Leaning Tower of Pisa reopens after a team of experts spent 11 years and $27 million to fortify the tower without eliminating its famous lean, by the time it was completed in 1360. Modern-day engineers say it was a miracle it didn't fall down completely in the year before its closing in 1990. 1 million people visited the old tower, climbing its 293 weathered steps to the top and gazing out over the green Campo dei Miracoli, Field of Miracles, outside. Though entrance to the tower is now limited, hordes of tourists can still be found outside, striking the classic pose, standing next to the tower pretending to hold it up, as cameras flash. The Eden Project in Cornwall, England opened, the world's largest greenhouse, trying to help save the world's largest collection of plants.